Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the comic collector geek, and this is the interview series that I do with cool comic collectors. And this week, no exception. Got Whodat, who I met through doing the show with Biggie Shack. He has an amazing collection. He also sells comics, and the thing that I noticed with him is he has a lot of high grade comics, like, and just really cool ones that are a little bit obscure, more modern than a lot of the books that I collect, but a lot of really great stuff. And actually, it was funny. There was some golden age book that he had. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring Whodat onto the show here. Hi.
How you
So yeah,
doing? Thanks,
yeah. I
thank
was
you for
actually
having me.
Yeah, I was actually impressed. Like there was you have a lot of really great high grade books. When I was like when we were doing a lot of the things, you'd bring out like some really great book, either with signing and stuff as well. That was the other thing I was really impressed by. You had some
Yeah,
pretty great
yeah,
signs.
yeah, yeah. I just get stuff that I like. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So, like, I don't have as much as the older stuff, but I get the older stuff that I do like. As far, and I mean, when I
Hmm.
mean older stuff, I mean golden age to let people know.
Hmm.
But uh, it's fun collecting. It's fun getting stuff that you're after. It's a good experience. It's just overall
Hmm.
good experience. So it's like it's a I kind of collect in my, I guess, era, age group, or however people want to say it. So I
Hmm.
was born in the '80s, and it's a lot of
So
stuff
that
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 came.
sort of
Yeah,
forms your.
yeah, a lot of stuff that came out in the '80s that really kind of still, even though I might have not read, well, when it came out, I might have not gotten that book, but
Hmm.
it still kind of brings back memories, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
makes
so
total sense.
my collection is all over the place, but it still has a focus on a couple of key things. Well, about three different things that kind of goes, throughout my collection that are stuff that I keep in my PC.
Okay. And so do you ever sell from your PC, by the
Yes,
way?
because but I've learned a lesson from selling from my PC. I sell from my PC, but I make sure it's an upgrade. Oh, I mean, I make sure I upgrade
You're
first.
upgrading
Yeah,
something that, yeah, I
yeah,
get
yeah.
that. I
So,
get
so what I've done in the past, and like I said, I've learned. I used to sell a book, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna use that to upgrade, and then
mhm. The price
I
would go
find
up, and then
either the price will go up, or I'll see another deal on something else amazing, and I
oh,
use
and
that
then you
money for
use the money
that.
for that, yeah, and then you don't
Yeah.
have your book. Yeah.
So now what I've done is, and as I say, I've learned. I try to if I see an upgrade that's good price, talk
Hmm.
to the person, see if I can work something out where I don't have to pay it all up front,
Hmm.
and then I move the book that
And
I
then you
have.
use it to fund the upgrade.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
kind of.
yes. So I've learned that way because I've either missed deals on upgrades,
Hmm.
or I've used the money on other
Yeah.
stuff and
Well, I
missed
mean,
out
if
on
you have the
upgrades.
money, it's like so tempting to buy like some random books, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh man, you selling that for how much? So it's like, yeah. So I sell stuff out on my PC, but it's always to upgrade. It's always a big
Hmm.
upgrade, but I'm very uh picky, or very what's the right way? Yeah, picky, I guess you could say, because I want to make sure I get the right thing and the right grade for upgrade.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna, if a book is just a half a point higher, I don't bother.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it
It
should
has
be a
to
big
be.
difference.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be a big difference in upgrade. Which I have a book like that. Which I didn't pull it, but I have a book like. Actually, no, I do. I have a book like that right here that I
Hmm.
did do that with, and I purchased the upgrade, and then, well, actually, it was like same day,
Oh,
sold
really?
and purchased the upgrade
Oh, nice.
in the same day, and so it worked out that way.
Was
But
there much
yeah,
of a cost difference between the two, or
only like $200. two
oh,
hundred
that's not too
dollars, yeah,
bad to
only
upgrade
two
a
hundred,
book.
only two, and there's only $200 difference. But the one I sold was like had three signatures on it,
Oh,
but it was a 6.0 newsstand.
okay.
So with the three signatures, and I ended up, I could show it if you want me to
Yeah,
right
sure.
now,
You
but
might as
yeah,
well
yeah.
show it. Here,
So
I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at it.
so yeah, so I end up up, and this wasn't signed at the time. It was like, oh, wrong book. All right, this one you had too many books. All right, here it is. It wasn't signed at the time. It was just a 9-2 newsstand. So I went from a 6-0 newsstand, triple signed, to a 9-2 not signed, and I ended up just getting it recently
Oh
back
wow,
because
you
I
went
got it
crazy with the
signed.
signs.
Yeah. I went crazy with the signings. Met Rosario Dawson. I met Ashley Eckstein, who plays the voice. Rosario does the live action for Ahsoka Tano. Matt Langton does the voice for Anakin, and James Arnold does the voice for Obi-Wan. So I met all of those guys and girls at in Dallas, and so I'm happy he came back still a 9-2 newsstand. So 6-0 triple sign,
It was
So
good. This is a bit better.
way better, I think. I think even if I didn't get the signatures, because if you add that cost to the signatures, I really only added an extra $300. So really, it's like $500 difference for when you add the signatures price. But I think I did well because that's a big jump in grade from a 6.0 to a 9.2, especially in the newsstand. If people don't know, newsstands are in 2008 are very
yeah, they didn't have any.
it's like you're talking like maybe like 1% to 2%, maybe as far as them out there. So this is one I showed it before unsigned, but I think and I showed it recently on my channel, but yeah, I was happy to this is one of those kind of upgrades. But I literally sold my copy and purchased this one on eBay the same day.
Wow. I believe it or not, I have a 6.0 copy of that book.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, but
so
not signed. It's a
yeah.
raw copy too.
Yeah, so it was an experience I had, and it was nice to meet some of the people I really, actors that I really like, and Ashley's super nice. Rosario is actually super nice as well. Like they're like overly nice. Even the guys, James and Matt, are super nice. So it's like you wouldn't have that experience unless you get it signed. So I'm happy I did. Ashley actually remembered me from New Orleans Fan Expo. So that was a good experience. So yeah, this is a great book and good experience. And that one's not going anywhere. I think I'm happy with the 9.2 newsstand because it gets
awesome. I mean,
it gets super pricey after you get past.
I'm not even sure how many like are there that many 9/8 of the newsstand? I can't imagine there being many.
I haven't even looked at the census. It can't be that many. But and it can't be that many that have that many signatures in it.
Because that was sort of a time kind of when the comic lull was happening. Like there was like not many comics even being produced in general. And then you get a newsstand version, which is usually beaten up.
Yeah. I know the print count is like around a little bit over 24,000 for the direct copy. So I guess you can kind of do your math from that. But it has to be
probably like 500 or 1,000.
Yeah, I was like 1,000 maybe. I was thinking probably around the same amount as the variant that everybody covets. The 1 in 1,000, not 1 in 1,000.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah,
but she's actually not on the cover. So actually, I prefer the variant. Isn't it just like the?
It's like they're riding motorbikes. They're riding 2 motorbikes, and I think that is her. I think she is on.
Oh, I was thinking the one with it looks like Darth Vader and Luke, and he's kind of isn't that the variant as well?
No.
Or am I thinking a different comic?
You're thinking a different comic because they only have 2 different covers, and it's that exclusive one, the 1,000 one, and this one. And she's on both of them. But this one you don't really see, like you see her back.
I know you see the back of her head.
Yeah. And the other one, she's actually riding one of those little bikes.
But you still see it's the back of her head, right?
Yeah. No. You see her face. You see her face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was you that told me the one where she shows her face, or you get the full of her, is the Shipyards one.
The Shipyards, you get the full. You get the that one came out. I'm trying to remember how it was. Well, I know the Shipyards one of Doom. I don't have it with me, but the one we're talking about, everybody, it's her second true appearance. And they call it her first full cover because you can see her face, her whole body. You see everything really well. But I know 100% is a second overall appearance. A lot of people don't really, and that's why if you ever have the Clone Wars 2, it doesn't say her second appearance because it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, this is a second appearance," but yeah, it's a second appearance in comics. But CGC doesn't recognize it because they had a book that came out before it.
Okay.
Literally, I think a month before it. It was just a month before it. So
It was sort of like in between one shot,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It was a little one shot that came with the DVD or something, or not really with the DVD, but I can't remember. But
Yeah.
it's a one shot.
One
Yeah.
shot. So I messed up the questions here. I forgot to ask you, and I should ask you, how did you get into collecting comics in the first place?
Well, when I was growing up, comics. I was an athlete growing up, so but
Oh, okay.
I like comic. I like cartoons and cartoons related to comics, but I didn't. We didn't purchase a lot of comics. I only have like a handful. My dad found like some old stuff,
Hmm.
but nothing like crazy expensive, like some foil covers and stuff. It's like they're beat up, but when I was growing up, we used to go to the mall, or we go to, and you have bookstores at the mall. People remember it was a long
Hmm.
time ago.
Yeah,
Getting to the age where people might don't even know what we're talking about when I say that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
go to the mall. I'll tell my mom, "Hey, I'm going to the bookstore." So I'll go
Hmm.
to the bookstore and I'll go to the spinner rack or wherever they had the comics, and I'll just pick up what they have and start flipping through it, reading
Hmm.
it. Pick up like Ninja Turtles adventures. Pick up like Simpsons. I think that was out around that time.
Hmm.
But a lot of different X-Men. Um, a lot of different stuff, and just pick up and read it. I might not go to the mall every week, so like I
Hmm.
might
Yeah.
miss stories out of it, but it was just cool to kind of read stuff, see stuff, and I kind of did it that way. And every now and then I'll get like a different, like some older show. One of them, it's like my dad gave me. It's
Okay.
beat up so bad.
So did your dad collect comics as well?
No, no, no. My dad was 100% athlete.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, so this is like something old. I don't even know when this came out. I didn't even look it up, but it's beat up. it's
Oh, wow.
beat
X
up.
Force.
It, it's beat up. This is X Force 28. He found this at the house. It's like it's. I remember this game. If people remember
Hmm.
that, but you can tell it's like it's super low grade.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's one of the stuff that he showed, like he found. He saw. It's like, oh man, I found some stuff. He said, "Is it worth a lot of money?" And I'm like, I look, I said, "Nah,
No.
it's not even worth a quarter." I'm sorry. He's like, "You're just saying that you want to make all the money." I said, "Nah, you can give it to me, and I'll just hold on to it for sentimental values, but it's not
Yeah.
worth anything." And I just actually just put them down like right where my little computer is at. This hand, like, damn, I don't even have it in a box. I don't have a bag and board
You
because
should put it in a bag and board. It's like,
just I don't even have it in bag and board. That's how bad it was. Like, so I was
mhm,
like, yeah. So that's how I kind of got into like growing up, just reading, and getting a few things here and there. I never got deep into it
mhm.
because it was like I said, playing sports, and like your parents choose. Like
What
you remember,
sport? I'm curious now. What?
I played basketball and baseball growing up all the way up to like college. I kept playing baseball.
Okay.
Um and then I hurt my shoulder and a lot of different things. So it's like I stopped playing. But
Mhm.
a lot of the money because when I look at it now, being an adult, I said, man, they spent a lot of money on like shoes,
Oh
baseball
yeah,
bats,
sports
cleats,
are expensive.
getting the more gloves when you get older, batting gloves, like bats again, like I was like, man. And I remember one time buying a bat. My dad bought my parents bought a bat, and the bat was like $200.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking when
So
I think of a bat, I think like $20. You know, like
yeah, you use a
two hundred
$20 bat
bucks.
right now, you might kill yourself. Because I've seen people do videos now, and he use like, let me see how a $20 bat would work, and he like,
And
he's like,
it
he's like,
just
oh
breaks.
my hands, yeah, he's like it
Yeah.
breaks, and he's like, so yeah, like we had to spend some money on that type of stuff, so it was hard to get deep into
Hmm.
buying that stuff because
The money was
it
being
was
used
three,
elsewhere.
yeah, it was three of us, two siblings, so it was three of us total, in the house, and that was not. I would say it was going to happen. Like
Hmm.
getting deep into it, like like I said, there's one here and there, a couple books here for like $1 or whatever it was. That was
Hmm.
different, but then to go every week or every 2 weeks to getting a whole bunch of comics when I was young, but I always read them. That's a fond memory I have with my parents bringing me. Well, really, my mom bringing us to the mall or bringing us to the store, and you go to either Barnes and Nobles or Borders
That's so cool.
or they had another store, and it was I forgot the name of that one because this store actually had music and books.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like I just have good memories about going there and reading all kind of stuff and flipping through, and that's how I got into it. Then as I gotten older, I gotten back into it. Probably let's say in college. So you're talking almost 20 years ago that I got back into it and started buying stuff that I could remember
Hmm.
because you had your own money.
Yeah, yeah,
Once you
yeah.
have your
Well,
own money, you could do you
yeah,
could
you
do
can
a
do
lot of
whatever you
stuff.
want with it. Yeah.
So and I get back into it. So like it all worked out, and so that's how I got into it and got into collecting it again once I got older and had my own money. I could do what I want with my
Yeah,
own
I know
money.
it's my money. I'll buy what I want.
Yeah, yeah. Especially since you're saving money, not really have to worry about buying tennis shoes for sports. You're just buying it for walking. You have to
Yeah,
worry
yeah.
about buying, So when I'm not spending all that extra money, it kind of
Hmm.
worked out. And then, I used to play video games a lot too. So that kind of when I dwindled that down, I found out I can buy more because I used to play
Hmm.
a lot of video games, and so you're like, all right, well, I can't get anything. I'm going to buy this $60 video game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like when I stopped doing that too, I was like, man, I got so much extra money.
Yeah. Video games are brutal. It's just like so expensive for half the like.
You're talking about like a new comic at like the max I've seen a new comic with like $10 when it's like some
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
crazy
It's like
book.
some
A
crazy
new
thing.
video
Yeah,
game, it's like $60.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like it's a big
yeah. It's
it's
a
a
big chunk.
big difference. Yeah, it's a big difference. So like so I'm just happy I got back into it because I just you have a lot of good memories,
Mm. So
and just bring
what
back.
kind of stuff do you mainly collect? Like what would be the
Um,
books that you say, oh, these have to be in my personal collection. These are the ones that I.
so it's like I've gotten down to like three things that I've kind of settled on collecting, and I pretty much finished one of them was TMNT turtle stuff.
Okay.
I wanted to when I got back into collecting, I wanted to get TMNT Volume One stuff.
Okay.
And I ended up completing. I completed that whole run, TMNT Volume One.
Nice.
I got some offshoots of TMNT stuff. That's definitely some things on my PC. I
Here,
can
I'll let
show
you.
one.
You can show
Yeah,
some as
I'll
we.
show some like the TMNT Adventures. This is a book I actually purchased from a guy who's no longer with us. He from New York. He passed away, but I actually didn't press and clean this book.
But it's
Um,
still a 9.8.
Still came back at 9.8. I
And
was
what
like,
happens if
what?
you press and clean it? Is it like is it a 10?
It is a 10 or a 9.9. I don't know, but that was one thing I remember when I bought this from him. And I remember actually talking him down on this book because I think he had it priced at like $40.
Oh
This is
wow.
before it went crazy. This is before TMNT stuff went crazy. And I talked him down. And then I just said, you know what, I want to get it graded. So I sent a whole bunch of stuff getting graded. This is before this is like I was in between getting stuff pressed. So it's like I'll just send some stuff in. I think that are a nice grade. I wasn't expecting a 9.8,
Hmm.
but I ended up coming back a 9.8. But this is some of the stuff that that I'll buy in my collection that it won't go anywhere ever. But Turtle Adventures. If anybody that noticed the first time Bebop and Rocksteady
Rocksteady. I was just gonna
and
say that.
Krang appear, but also they don't notate it, which they need to. It's the first time they have the bandanas too.
Yeah, yeah. The different
Different color,
colors.
different kind of
Yeah.
color bandanas, which I wish they would notate as well on that. But that's
That was an
TMNT.
underrated book for a long time, and then it went crazy, and now it's come back a bit.
But it's still well above what it was before it went crazy. Which
Yeah.
I'm okay with the prices or is now. Like if I was trying to get that book now, I would be like, okay, I understand. It's worth
Yeah.
it. But when it went super crazy,
It
I
didn't
was
make sense. It was like really, really crazy. Oh, that's nice.
like, so this a lot of people who played video games or collect TMNT as well. No, this is the video game cover for TMNT.
Hmm.
This is the second print. Super hard book to get. Super hard book to get it in high grade. Um, a lot of things you will learn about people who heavily collect TMNT. We don't like to spend a lot of money on TMNT, so
Hmm.
that's why I have a 9.6. I'm not gonna, I'm not buying, I'm not gonna buy a 9.8.
Well,
I'm happy with
the
a
difference
9.6.
between a
Yeah,
9.6 and a
yeah,
9.8
that's right.
visually is nothing, but
Mm-mm.
price wise is crazy difference.
And this is one of those books that are like this. It's not really. It has a couple of like little things at the very
Yeah.
bottom, but besides that, there's nothing else wrong with this book. I'm happy that I had this. I think I had an 8.5 of this. I sold the
Okay.
8.5
And
for
then
somebody else
upgraded.
who collects, yeah, who else collects TMNT, and I ended up upgrading to the 9.6.
Nice.
Um, I didn't do it immediately, like I said. I learned, but this is one of those instances where I almost missed out because the person actually had two 9.6s.
Hmm.
And he had one left, and I said, I need to make that purchase. So, like the TMNT stuff here is, and then what else I could show? This is another one from the TMNT stuff,
Oh,
like
nice.
my first Casey Jones. Um, People, when you collect TMNT, there's only a handful of like key TMNT books, and this is like one of them.
This is one of them. Yeah.
You got probably like the number one. You got the video game card I would consider. It's not a key, but it's a key book to get. You got the Arch Adventures one that I showed, this one, and probably the number two issue. So yeah, it's only like 5 or 6 books
Hmm.
that had, to me, like ones you should have if you're a heavy TVNT collector. First Casey Jones. This one I got from my LCS it's currently is my LCS, but I was looking for a place to buy books and buy stuff to read. So I
Hmm.
found them. Then I walk in, I see they had this and some other books. And I said, man, this looks like it's very nice. And then I open it up. It's signed by Eastman and Lear. They had
Hmm.
it. They said it was too, but I wanted to make
They
sure.
usually sign the inside page or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. They signed the inside page. So I bought it from my LCS. I want to say it was $80.
Oh, wow.
Um, but but you're talking about like what over 10 years ago.
Okay. That's before it went
Yeah, yeah,
crazy. That was another
yeah,
book that
yeah,
went
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it might have been 15 years ago when I got this, um, but yeah, I had to have it just because growing up watching a cartoon, flipping through the adventure, the Archie series. Yeah,
Hmm.
like it's just one of those things you got to have, and then when it came back this grade, I was just happy, and it basically tells the story on the cover and the back cover because it's a wraparound cover. You can kind
Yeah.
of tell they're like enemies, and then when you flip the back, they're fighting together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, and
So the
that's
funny
basically
thing
the
is, on the
story.
front, he has like a bat. On the
Yeah,
back, he's using his trademark hockey stick.
yep, yeah, the hockey stick, and if you want to see something comedic, you don't really know if people don't notice it. He's using an umbrella to kind of slow his fall
Oh,
down.
that's funny. I never even noticed that. I never
He's
actually noticed that. I always thought it was like part of the structure, but it's actually an umbrella.
he's
That's
using an
so
umbrella
messed up.
like
I've looked at the back dozens of times and I've never noticed that. That
yeah.
is so
So
funny.
it's kind of funny how that happens. Raph is just jumping down with nothing. He has the umbrella to slow him down with the hockey stick.
Wow, that's so funny.
So yeah, he has the bat on one of the. But that's Casey Jones. He has that bat. He'll have the baseball bat, or he has the cricket, cricket little bat, or he has the hockey stick like he has on the back. So this is
Yeah.
something like that I
I always
collected.
associate him with the hockey stick just because in the original movie, that's what he used, right?
Yeah, yeah. He had the cricket thing he used and the hockey stick in the movie.
Hmm.
Because the cricket thing he hit Raph with, and the hockey stick I think he fought like a lot of the enemies or whatever with.
The foot soldiers or
Yeah,
whatever
foot
they're
soldier.
called.
So he said, and he asked what stuff I collect. I told you TMNT, but I also collect African American characters, which kind of like blends in.
Well, I see the logo right above your head. I'm like looking at that the whole time. That's an awesome book, by the way.
Characters of color, or since I've had a daughter, female characters. That's kind of what I gotten into. So I didn't bring these
Lobo,
down because
Black Panther and Riri.
These mean a lot to me. And this one, because I actually read the story and I was like, man. And then when I looked, I was like, thinking when my daughter got old, I said, man, she reminds of my daughter, or something like how my daughter wanted to be, like super smart and get into all kind of tech or something like that. So that's why I have them up. And this one was the AOK from Man Cave Comics.
Wow, what a great man!
Yeah. Well, this is a lot of stuff I say is before the comic boom. This is AOK this and another book with it, because at the time, because he had a set value, and like he told us, like he had a set value that he was doing everybody the same thing. AOK, really everybody the same thing. But this book and another book added up to that's how cheap that book was. It was
I mean, it used to be like I mean, it was underrated for the longest time. Now it's like it's crazy expensive.
Yeah, so he knew I didn't have it, and he wanted to add it. But this is one I had, and
Luke Cage.
Yeah, I love the Luke Cage stories are so awesome. But John Romita, John Marita? Who else? Kind of like it's like a whole team of people who helped create this one, but main one was John Romita. But I bought this like way before it got crazy as well, because I think they didn't have no TV show or nothing. This is way before that. No announcements for any TV show, any of that stuff. And
I liked him in the TV show.
I like the actor who did it. I think he portrayed him well. But like that just made it go crazy. Now this book in this grade, if anybody knows anything about this book, it's like once you get above an 8, this book is like expensive.
Well, it's the black.
It's all black.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and this is an older label. It was not pressed and clean, but I'm not taking the chance to cracking it out. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the grade.
And we learned something as well about that book. It's a framed book. It's a picture frame.
Picture frame comic is like a lot of Luke Cage stuff is.
Yeah, I know, I'm just joking about that because that was that thing I didn't know what that was until.
Yeah, but I got to show you this one. This is my favorite story of the Luke Cage run. I have it raw as well, but I just showing this one. But I had to buy it raw, and when this one came up for a deal, if I tell you what, I paid under $200 for this book.
Oh wow!
All these signatures on because it's triple signed.
Oh wow! You really like getting crazy number of signatures.
Yeah, well, I never had a chance to meet John Romita. So when this popped up, and he was a co-creator of Luke Cage. I said I jumped on it. So, and then you got 2 other people that dealt with this book. Roy Thomas was the editor at the time.
I thought Roy Thomas was one of those people that never signs anything, isn't it?
No, Roy Thomas signs everything.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe somebody else. Maybe it's Romita.
John Byrne doesn't sign anything.
It's John Byrne. Yeah, I knew there was one guy that was like really hard to get signatures from.
Yeah. So like that's all. And the funny is, I don't have a lot of signature books. I really don't. But this one I couldn't pass up for the price. I mean,
now John Romita, that signature by itself is
probably
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, because he didn't he did signings, but it was like private signings at his house. So, but that in the Steve Englehart is classic writer. Like I said, you already told you about Roy Thomas, but this storyline has like the cover. The cover lies to you with the storyline. You think, oh man, Dr. Doom's beating up Luke Cage. Nah, it's really the opposite. Like Luke Cage kicks the crap out of Dr. Doom.
Oh, really?
Yes, he beats Dr. Doom. Well, first off, he steals the Fantastic Four jet. He steals their jet to fly to Dr. Doom's castle. He flies there. He's beating up all his guards, everything, and then you're like, man, what's going on? Luke Cage is like going right, but and then you kind of find out he meets up with Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom he tells him, "Where's my $200?" So basically, Luke Cage did all this because
For
Dr. Doom
$200.
owed him $200, and he
Wow.
started beating up Dr. Doom and going ham, and like he's like, "Where's my money, honey?" That's a line in his book. Where's my
Wow.
money, honey?
Where's my money, honey?
And
Referring to Doctor Doom. That's so
yeah,
funny.
refers to Dr. Doom, and he's like literally Dr. Doom's like metal pieces coming out of him as he's beating
That's
him up.
awesome.
Like he just
Oh,
never happened.
oh,
But
you're
yeah,
yeah.
that's probably one of my favorite stories of Luke Cage. And you talk about
Is there
Lobo.
any key? Is it a key as well, or?
Actually, that's like funny thing is that is one of the only because if anybody knows Luke Cage like 1 through 12, like they have a first appearance in all of them.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
like
so many
that's like the only one that's not a key, but it's the second most expensive one out
because
of
of the
1
cool
through 10
cover.
because of the Doctor Doom's cover and story. Like
Yeah,
it's like issue one's the number one, and then that one.
yeah. Wow.
But talking about Lobo, I wanted to show. I finally got this.
Oh wow, that's actually harder than one.
That's harder to get than one. I bought this from a guy that me and Alan buys from. I'm not gonna say who he is on
Yeah.
Instagram. So it's so funny is I've been after this book, but it's like after it in a way. I have this kind of thing with me. I try not to buy books off of eBay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to, but I try not to. Like stuff like this or other books. So, I just been like, all right, whenever it pops up, I'll find it. So, like it popped up on sale and I end up buying it. And then it ends up popping up on sale on Instagram for the guy again, like the next week. I was like, man, when I'm looking for the book, I never see nobody selling it.
And then you
And then
get
when I
like a whole
finally
bunch
get
of
it,
copies.
I've seen at least 3 sales on different avenues on Instagram with this book. And I was like, it always happens after you buy something, it pops up. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I haven't seen it for like a year besides on eBay, or maybe more than a year when I've been looking for it, and then it finally pops up. But this one's like this is his second appearance for issue 2, if anybody's wondering. Last issue, which because they only
Mm-hmm.
did 2 issues of Lobo,
Yeah.
but he's the first African American character to headline the title.
Yeah. He's before
Yeah,
Black Panther. He's
yeah.
before
So like, because well, I don't well Black Panthers he didn't headline the title that was in his book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you got Black Panther. I'm trying to think what DC had. DC had Black Lightning that came out actually in
Yeah.
the 70s. So yeah, so this is the one, and then I think Black Panther was like not too long after it, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a not an
I
easy
haven't seen
come
many
by.
graded copies of that. I always see it raw. I don't know why.
I had this one was raw. I sent it off to get graded. Reason being is because it had a pop bottom staple, and I didn't want anything else to happen to it because I would have just kept it
Okay.
raw. And it actually came back a higher grade than the one in the first one. My first one up here was a 4.0.
Oh wow.
So yeah, but yeah, that's some of the stuff, and besides the female characters, that I've
so
been
so
getting
the big
into.
three are like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yeah,
black
anything
black
TMNT,
characters, and
black
then
characters and
and then
female
sexy women.
first. Oh, you can say that. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, because I say it female keys because it could be like you said.
Sounds
It
better.
could be. Yeah, it sounds better because it could be first appearances, origins, or like you said, very very nice presenting covers.
Well,
Because
what in the golden age we always go good girl art, right? It sounds
good girl.
it
Yes.
sounds much more but it's just sexy girls.
Yeah, I would say they say good girls like she don't look too good in that cover. But yeah, I've kind of been getting into the female keys, and I've been dabbling in that, and I've been getting some good stuff. So that's the 3 things that I collect. I mean, that I have to get, and when I get them, even when I upgrade them, they're hard to let go. If that makes any sense, because
Yeah.
you're like, I'm sending a book out that somebody else purchased, and I'm waiting for the other one to come in, and you're like, Man, hopefully it's what's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
name.
Hopefully
Yeah,
it
it's
comes
always
back. Yeah.
yeah, it's always I'm always worried. Always worried. No
Hmm.
matter if it's a reputable seller or not, or somebody I've dealt with before. And it's not because of them, it's just because of the world we live in. Like, anything can happen. The post office could be like, oh, we don't know where your package is at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they could deliver a box one time. I had a box delivered open. Even though the
Oh
book was in
wow.
there, but it was open.
Oh wow. That you're lucky you got the book.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, so that's why I'm always worried, even when I'm
Well,
upgrading to stuff like that. So yeah,
it's you're
it's
you're you're actually in a much better situation than me because in Canada, things always go through the border. The going through the border part is horrible. Like they always like open up the packages. You never know if it's going to get through customs. It's like, oh, it's always a nightmare.
I have a horror story. No, I don't have a horror story, but I have a horror story because it happened to somebody I know who sold a book to a guy in Canada. It was actually was it the Barry Allen? What was that Showcase 4? Showcase
Showcase
4.
4. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
some bad happened to
And this is
Showcase 4.
yeah, so this is years ago. That book was still expensive years ago.
Oh,
We're talking
it's
about,
always been a good
yeah,
book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's always been a premier book. This is over 10 years ago. So he sold the book. Customs opened the box and opened the slab.
Oh,
Yes, it was in a slab. It opened the slab,
they thought
cut
maybe
out.
this is just like a
I
casing or something, or
I
like,
have no idea what they thought, but they opened the slab, then cut out the book, damaging the book.
wow.
And then the guy received it. And he's like, dude, and they had the custom paperwork to show like it wasn't like he did it. You like, look,
Hmm.
dude, they opened everything. Yeah, custom red tape. So the guy was like, oh. So he sent it back to the guy. Guy
Hmm.
gave him his money back, and luckily, like he pressed and cleaned it, but luckily it came back the same grade it was.
Oh, okay,
But
that's lucky. I mean,
you could see where the original picture, and then you could see where it took
where
some
there's some
damage.
damage. Yeah.
And
Wow.
I was just ever since that happened, I've always been so nervous to ship to Canada. But I've always told people because I know how you get your items. I said, dude, they have places where I can ship to a company,
Yep,
and then
that's
you
what I
come
do.
you get a whole bunch of once you get to a certain limit, they mail you your stuff. And
Yeah.
I always told people it's like I would you should look into doing it that way. You would save
Yeah.
money. You would save
Well, that's what
money,
I
but
do. I save a ton of money on that. The other thing I have is I have a special account with a FedEx where
mhm.
they manage they broker the customs. So
Yeah,
instead of being at customs for like a week or a month, like they can literally hold it that long. It goes through in like a day, like that day.
mhm.
Just
Yeah, and
but
I've told people who from Canada and stuff like that, they got these different might want to look into, especially if you're
mm,
buying books from the United States. You'll
yeah,
save
it's
money, and to me, it's after I saw that experience with that book, I was like, if I would never do it any other way. No,
yeah. No,
I could.
customs is horrible, horrible. I got
Yeah,
on a $20 book, I got charged $100 custom fee. It's like, what? How does
it's
this
like
work?
this is
No,
the math is not adding up, sir.
yeah, so the way they do it is it's so messed up. What they do is like, oh, the tax is like 7% or something, like what the tax is, but there's like a processing fee that they add in and like all this stuff. I'm like, what? This is totally bogus. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how they do it. I hate to say it. It's just the way things that we deal with. But yeah, like definitely something you can if you learn from this and watch this later, people. Definitely, if you're from Canada, please look into that. It trust me, it will save you money on the end, and
So
your U.S. sellers will be happy. You will be happy once you get your
yeah,
items. Yeah.
did you ever have to ship to a Canadian buyer?
Yes, I've done a few times. Now since I have like a shipping, I use like this shipping website or whatever. 'Cause I used to this when I first started selling, I was just going to the post office and dropping it
Yeah,
off.
dropping it off. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, when I started doing it more and more, I was like, hold up, I'm paying too much. Well, the buyer's paying a lot, and I'm paying as well.
Hmm.
And I was like, this need to be a better way. So I started looking into different websites to ship through. So it's a little bit easier for me to ship now because I can just
Mhm.
type it in and it prints it all. I don't have to fill out any extra paperwork,
Yeah.
but it's still expensive.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah,
not cheaper
yeah,
and
yeah. It's cheaper, but it's still expensive.
well, yeah,
Like
sending anything to Canada is brutal.
one slab. I
Like
think
30
it's like
bucks or
40.
something?
It's like $40.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
yeah, it's like $40 for one slab. Uh, that's why I kind of don't like shipping to Canada, not because of the person. I don't like paying people. I don't like for people to pay that much for shipping. Yeah, you're almost paying
Yeah.
like the person who bought the book from me is that's as much as he paid for the book. The
I know
slab
it's
costs
brutal.
$40.
That's why I wasn't like able to get very much for a while because like the shipping was more expensive than the books. In a lot of cases, if you try to get like the latest, $10 to $20 book, it didn't make sense, right?
Yeah,
But did you ever see like I did one unboxing where I had these three massive boxes?
I seen the massive
Okay,
boxes.
well I had three massive boxes. The shipping for that was $250.
Okay,
Okay, so but
that seems reasonable for those
that
big
seems
old
that's
boxes. Yeah.
but if I had shipped them individually, like like from buying all the things, it would have been $2,000.
So yeah, that's what I said.
Which
When
is
you do the math and you look into that, that's why I was like, if you're gonna do anything, you'll save a ton of money. Not a
oh
little
yeah,
money, a
yeah,
ton of money.
yeah.
It makes it all worth it. If
Hmm.
so yeah, I always try to. That's why I don't like shipping to Canada, Europe, any of those countries because I know how much you're gonna be paying a lot for shipping, and I'll try my best to do the cheapest thing, and
Hmm.
but it's like, and you gotta agree upon me doing the cheapest thing,
Yeah, and then
and yeah, so it's like once we have that agreement and we do it, it's out of my hands. But I'm like, I don't like, and it's still you're still spending like 30-40 bucks on
yeah.
one book, like then when you start getting more books, like one time somebody paid $70 in shipping because
Oh wow,
it was like the weight of three
three slabs or
slabs.
something. Yeah,
Yeah. So it was like $70. Like, dude. It's like I felt bad, but it was like that's what it is. Like I took pictures to show, look, this is what I'm
yeah, yeah. You got to
this is how
prove
much
that because
this is
they're
how
gonna
much
be
it
like, yeah,
is. It's like
I
I
can't
can't do any
control it. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it is what it is.
So I felt bad, but yeah, he wanted it, so he got it. So yeah, it's
So, when you're selling, are you selling through YouTube? Are you selling through Instagram? Are you selling through whatnot? What's your?
so it's my I would say Instagram is number one,
Mhm.
eBay eBay / Shortbox because I kind of it's like two
Oh,
there's two
Shortbox, the
apps.
other one. Yeah.
Yeah, or YouTube. I don't do as much on YouTube or do as much or as well on YouTube because the books I sell are a little bit more out of the range for people, I think. And it's not
Hmm.
like it's super expensive. I don't know about like $1,000 books. I usually send those to Instagram or
Yeah, but
eBay.
I
But
think most of your books in that $200 to $300 range.
yeah. But I've had a lot of success on Instagram. On Instagram through consignment pages or myself.
Hmm.
And then lately eBay. eBay's been I don't like using eBay because of the fees,
Yeah,
but
but it
that's why
sells well.
it sells well, and 9 times out of 10 it sells more than Instagram or YouTube.
Hmm.
So it's like so you kind of have that adjustment.
Hmm.
Like if I'm trying to sell something on YouTube for $250, nobody wants it, then I end up selling it for 300 on eBay.
Yeah, because
So
then that
so
covers the fees. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of covers the fees, and then I end up making a little bit more than I would have been on YouTube or Instagram. So eBay works out. I kind of don't like it because
Hmm.
I like to add signature confirmation on eBay
Hmm.
because if somebody signs for it, that means you received it. So you can't
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't hit
Oh, I
eBay.
never
I never.
received it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
know
yeah, I don't
the
like those
buyer
games.
protection is quite strong.
Yeah, it's very strong on eBay. That's why I kind of use. I've learned through eBay the best thing to protect the seller is adding like a signature confirmation.
That's good advice.
That's more protective than even an insurance because
Hmm.
the insurance doesn't prove they received it. It just
Yeah,
ensures the fact. It just ensures it.
yeah,
So the signature confirmation is the best way because that, especially if you use the address that eBay gave you, use the address eBay gave you. You add signature confirmation, and eBay sees that it got delivered to the address on file.
Yeah, you've done everything. You've crossed all the T's.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "I'm sorry, sir." They're gonna say, "I'm sorry, sir," to the buyer, but the address you provided is correct. And we looked at the person had signature confirmation, and it was signed by
whoever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself. That's one thing that I felt like the sellers on eBay, they are taking a bit of a risk with a lot of stuff. You think they get the money, like, but it's usually like a few weeks later, isn't it?
Well, now how they do it now, it's a little bit better. But on eBay now, it's like 1 to 3 business days. So once they pay you, well, I should say once they pay you and you like submit the shipping tracking, it's like 1 to 3 business days.
Oh, okay. I thought it was only when they received it that they released the
it used to be like that. But now they've kind of changed it a little bit since they kind of control the payout, because in the past it used to be going through PayPal and yeah, so now they kind of control it. So it's like they can control, I guess, when they send it off. I like it a little bit better. It still takes you a few days. So
it's better than waiting a month or something.
Or even waiting a week. It's better than waiting a week. So the longest you'll wait is if you sell something on like a Friday.
Oh,
well, if they pay you on a Friday, you're not gonna get that money maybe till like Tuesday.
Oh, okay, that's not too.
So that might be the longest you'll wait. But if you do it like a Monday, you'll have your money by like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, that to me is really good.
Yeah, I like it the way they're doing it now, even though the fees are still high. I mean, 13%. That's their fees. People don't realize it's 13%.
And is there a credit card processing fee, or is that with the credit card processing fee?
I don't know. I don't buy as much on eBay, and then different credit cards are different.
No, I was wondering if the buyer or the seller has to pay the credit card processing fee.
They might. I don't have to. Like if I'm me as a seller, I don't have to. Okay. The only thing I have to pay for is they pay for
as a buyer. I never have to pay for it.
Yeah. The only thing they do is like they charge a sales tax.
Wherever you're from,
this is what I don't like. I don't like how they do the fees. All right, so you already know the fees are high. So if I sell a book that's $200, they're not going to charge me on a fee for $200. They're going to charge me. They're going to add the shipping.
Then they charge.
No, shipping and the sales tax. Then charge me the fee. And you're like, hold up, I'm not getting the sales tax because they're taking it out. Because they'll charge them the sales tax, and then when you look at your payment skills, it says they've already removed tax.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hold on, you're adding a fee on something that you're taking out.
Wow.
So it's a little.
They're making it a little. That's a way of making it a little extra on their end.
A little extra on there, like a couple dollars extra.
You're being taxed on the taxed is what we always say.
Yeah, you get double. They should get double tax, a double feed, or however you want to call it, because they shouldn't get feed on taxes.
Yeah, or shipping.
Or shipping. Yeah, that I'm not making any money. I'm not making. Well, you're not making money on taxes, and I'm not making money on shipping.
Well, that's what happened. Remember, I said that customs thing. That was the other thing that's where like a $20 book. Like it was $30 for shipping. They charged me tax on $50. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it was like that drives me crazy. It's like, why am I paying tax on shipping? That's not a product.
So that's I don't like. That's why I hate using eBay, because I don't like how they're do the fee situation. But it's one of the best ways to sell.
I mean, it's my number one place to buy books, to tell you.
It's the best. I would say it's it would be number one for me if I didn't have the Instagram avenue. But since I kind of have that avenue, it's a close number 2. It's close.
So do you ever do joint claim sales with I know Elite Comics does a bunch of them.
Yeah, I haven't done one in a while for Elite, but I do whenever they do claim sales, I do with them. If we do one, but I do post a lot of books with them. I say a lot of books, but it's usually like 2 or 3.
But they take a percentage too, right?
They take. There's only 5% though.
Oh, it's not bad. That's
only
actually not bad.
5%.
Like I always
Yeah,
thought they get a much higher percent.
it's
How do they make
5%.
money?
Because I guess they
It
when
must
you
be the volume. It's just
it's
sheer
the volume,
volume.
it's sheer volume, and so it's 5% unless the fee is under $20, then it's $20.
Oh,
That's
okay.
still not a lot. That's still not a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're selling a $300 book, that 5% doesn't equal $20. So it's like 17 or 18.
Mhm.
And so you're just paying up $20, which is still
So
cheaper
like
than
on a
eBay.
$1,000 book, like a big book, you're only paying $20.
No, 5%.
Okay, it's
It's
fine.
five
Okay.
percent unless the fee is not up to $20.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I've done it so much that I know what I'm looking at. But
Mhm.
if $1,000 books is only 5%, so it'd be what, $50.
I mean, I personally like the claim sales. You
Yeah,
can get a lot better deals. I mean, we both have a particular person that we buy some stuff from.
yeah, yeah. I love the claim sales, like you said, because you're in the moment. You're in
Mhm.
the moment, and you can get an answer quick, and you
Yep.
can get a counter quick or a rebuttal. You can get that all quick
Yeah,
instantly,
and then
compared
you
to a
have that
book.
little bit back and forth and kind of
Yeah,
negotiate with them.
compared to a book that's on like their page or anybody else's page, and you send a DM, and then you wait for a response. Then you send, so that could take a day or two,
Yeah,
compared to something that could take not even 30 seconds.
yeah.
So I love selling live. It's
Mhm.
because I always tell people, if I'm selling something, I want to sell it.
Yeah,
So if you send me an offer, most likely I'll either counter or I'll take it. It's like I'm not
yeah.
gonna just say no. I'm just not because I want to sell it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of them are like that. Like what I always do is I always put in like my low ball offer. I let the book sort of sit for a bit. Hopefully nobody's interested in it. And then they feel like, oh, maybe nobody's gonna buy this book. And then I throw in my low ball and
And
then
then you always get them thinking like,
maybe, yeah.
maybe just come up with extra $20. I got.
Yeah. Like I've had a few where they accept it. I'm like, oh my, like I was like, that was really just a test. It wasn't really, but they accepted it.
I've had that a few times. Reason being because you'll send like because I like to combine things. So you
That's
do
what
a
I do too.
combine.
That's my
I like
trick.
to
Yeah.
I love to combine things because
Because then it
people
sounds like a big sale and they can
yeah
get like
you
points
can
off in each. Yeah.
yeah so I combined something one time, and it was a blue marble one, which I think I have it right here. Yeah, I have a blue marble one. I
Okay,
don't have the
show it
other book.
because that's a great book, by the way.
Yes,
I
I
love
have
that
blue
book. That's a
marble.
book on my want list, by the way.
Yeah, I have a blue marble one. So I did a deal with
And a
this book.
9.8, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
I did a deal with this book and Anti Venom.
mhm,
Mind you, I already have this book. The only reason I did it because, like Alan said, I just say, just shoot him a low ball off. I don't think he's going to take it.
mhm,
And the guy countered. What did he counter? Yeah, he countered, which was still a great deal. And when I say he
mhm,
countered, he only went up like $100 or something.
mhm,
So I'll even tell you what I paid for this. And the other book was Anti Venom second print. If anybody knows that, the 9.8, super expensive book, super hard to
mhm,
get book. But the guy it was $1,300 for
mhm.
both.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This was at the time
Buy,
when
sell.
this was at the time this was selling for over $1,300 by itself.
Yeah.
Now it kind of dropped. It's like $1,000 now, but
Mhm.
still, when I look at the deal at the end of the day, I still made a crazy deal, and he took it, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll take it.
Motivated seller. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
it
what
was
it
good.
is.
That was good because that's how you know it's a good deal when somebody counters you a good deal, and then you have somebody right underneath it. He's like, I'll take it if he doesn't want it.
Yeah. I always see that. I always see that.
So I was like, well, I gotta take it now because it's such a good deal. I don't, and
Yeah.
I was like, so I ended up getting it, and I really just wanted the Anti Venom, but Blue Marvel is one of my favorites as well. I mean, how
Mhm.
many characters you can say knocked out the Hulk? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I got this one. I was gonna use the other one as an investment, but I don't know if I'm gonna give it to my daughter or not. But it's just one of those books that I was like, oh man, I didn't think I'd get that book because of the print count, and then two of them end up falling in my lap.
It seems like that happens a lot with you. You get like
Yeah, yeah,
where you start looking for something, and then all of a sudden they all kind of
yeah.
appear.
Yeah, and now I've gotten to the point. It's like, all right, if it happens, I can't do it more than twice. Because it's like you end up getting like 3 copies of a book or 4 copies of a book, and it's like, why do you have so many copies? Well, because they sold it so cheap. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what to
hard to
do.
resist those deals, right?
Yeah, it's like, man, people are getting rid. Like it's like, give me deals, and it's
Hmm.
always good to have them, but it can be a headache sometimes in a good way.
Mm.
In a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
way, but yeah, but yeah, that was a good little deal. I love Blue Marble.
So,
Go
so
ahead.
what book are you chasing right now? What's your kind of grail or big book that you would like to get?
Actually, I just made a list for 2023, and
Hmm.
I'm just kind of making the biggest, I would say, the Grail book or the big book I want to get is TMNT Mania, Turtles Mania, number
I
one.
I could have gotten that for $100.
I could have gotten it for really
I
cheap
was
as
like,
well, and I was just like,
I didn't
and I
know the
just
book at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it seems like a lot for just some
I
random.
could have bought it from my LCS that's about an hour's drive from me
Hmm.
for $250, which is still a good deal.
Yeah, yeah.
For because they normally are high grade, and this one was high grade, and
Hmm.
I kind of put it back. I don't know why I put it back. To this day, I don't know why.
Hmm.
Maybe I thought probably because I thought I would come back up here and get it later. I should have knew it wasn't gonna be there. It's not like he had multiple copies. He had one copy.
Mm.
So yeah, I could have had the opportunity. And kind of ever since then, it kind of like been I kind of been haven't seen it much. And then when I do see it, because I'm kind of set on what I want to get that book in. I don't want to get because it sounds like an old book,
Hmm. Oh,
and with that book, I want to have it graded already. The reason being, I want to have it graded. And people are like, oh, why you want to? It's like, well, I want to have it graded because they reprinted that book.
oh
They
yeah. You
reprint
don't
it.
want to have it where it's the reprint and yeah, you
Yeah,
get.
yeah. So like they did it on a 25th anniversary, reprinted like the 35th anniversary. So they reprinted that book heavily a lot.
Hmm.
Because the guy who printed the books for Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, they made a deal with the guy saying he's he can legally sell reprints.
Okay, so
It's
he's
a
just
shop in
printing it
Florida.
whenever he wants. Yeah.
It's a shop in Florida, and they look identical. Only some small details that look different.
Hmm.
If you see the small detail, but he can actually leave off because they have like he'll sign the back of it, the inside, and stamp it. So that tells you it's a reprint. But if he
Hmm.
doesn't do that, you won't know until you send it in.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of like one of those books you have to buy graded if you want the original, just to be
Hmm.
safe.
Yeah, there's certain
Uh,
books that I always like that. I want to have
yeah,
that first print and graded so that you know.
yeah, and it's not a super expensive. Well, let's say super expensive, being in that it's not like tens of thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
I have to tell people when I talk about say super expensive. Now
Hmm.
it's not like in that range. It's still like a 9/8 still going to cost you over $1,000,
Hmm.
and then depending, I don't. It just depends, but it's hard to find. I know Elite Comics. They have told me when I'm ready and I have the money,
Hmm.
they will find one for me.
Oh
And
wow.
they have a very good success rating.
They have a very good network of people to
Yeah,
ask. So.
they have a good success rating finding it. So, and they told me where I need to be, and that's kind of like why I haven't been buying nothing. I was like, let me sell, and then when I get that, I
Hmm.
could tell them, hey, find this book in this grade. I have the money ready. Let's make a deal, and they'll put a bolo out, which I kind of like it. And
Hmm.
like I said, their success rating on finding is if they had a percentage on it, it's probably like 95%. It's like high.
Hmm.
It's very, very high. It
That's
might be
really high.
100%. It might be 100% actually, but I just want
But
to,
they give that little bit of error. Yeah.
yeah, I want to get that little bit of error because they'll find it for you. So that's a good
Hmm.
avenue too. If people are ever looking for a book or looking for something, like message them or others, and
Hmm.
most likely they'll find it or find somebody who has it, and usually they talk the person into selling it.
Nice, nice.
So it works out. But yeah, that's my biggest book I'm after. for my personal collection. I have another one, but I don't want to pay the price, and it's the Turtles 3 variant. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Oh yes, the blue. Yeah.
It's like the with the white and blue, like it's more white than blue in
Yeah.
certain areas of the book. I would love to have that book.
Ryan
but
has that at Automatic Comics.
Yeah, I had an opportunity actually to buy this on a YouTube auction.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have bought this for really cheap. People who know me and follow me know this. And I could have bought it for really cheap. But I had to be honest and say, hey, does that say
Oh no!
is the Leards in white? He says, yeah.
Is it white?
And he's,
yeah.
And
it
then
should be blue if it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's white. And I said, man, that's the variant. And I'm bidding on it at the time. So I'm helping the seller and I'm bidding on it and I'm hurting myself.
Man. So, at least you're being honest. At least you're being honest.
I was being honest because I could have kept it to myself and just got it for $100 because that's where it was at, price wise, and nobody else was bidding until I said all the stuff I wanted, and it got like over 700 or something like that. It got crazy. Wow. It got crazy once we verified.
Once people realized that it was like the rare.
Once we verified it, and I said I folded. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I was like, but yeah, that's the two books I'm really after that I want for PC. Like female character wise, because like I said, I want to get the first Talia al Ghul and a 9.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, first not Talia al Ghul and 9 or better. That's one of them, and I would love to get the first Hawk Girl. I think it's All-Star
Are you
Comics.
talking All-Star 5? Or?
5?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to get that one. But the Talia is like the first one I want to get because I got a feeling that's going to get it because it's a dark cover, and then I got a feeling it could get more expensive than it already is.
Strangely, the All-Star, and if you're willing to go lower grade, it's not that.
It's not that bad.
Sorry about that. That was weird. Somebody called me. When people call me, I gotta wrap it up soon because people are calling me.
I'll show you some books. I'll show you a few books.
Okay, show a couple more books, and then we got
a couple more because I got this one.
Oh, nice.
So
I always like
Batman. Batman 62. This is the first. This is what is it? Origin of Catwoman, and her name is revealed as Selena Kyle. So she wasn't Selena Kyle until this issue. So this is actually, to me, in my opinion, a big book. If you want, early Batmans or Catwomans, because like I said, her name, you don't know her name until this issue. And it's actually a decent cover with her and the cats. I like it. So that's one of the ones
I always like that. Like it looks like she's like a cat lady.
I picked like an evil cat lady that's attacking Batman. This is and I'm going through quickly for stuff because we've been talking and chatting, and I haven't shown like half of the stuff. But Archie, this is one that I found out about this book, and then it just popped up. I forgot where. Oh, it popped up from a guy we know, and but it was a 4/5 CBCS, and Dustin, the comic book chiropractor, did his thing on it, and it came back a 5/5, which is when you look this up on the census, this is in that like harder to find for his condition wise. Like anything above a 4/5,
it gets hurt, really hurt.
Yeah,
the
gets really hard.
Are always beaten up.
Yeah, so it gets really hard to get stuff, and it's like not that many higher grades in this one. And in case people don't know, this is the first appearance of Sabrina, Teenage Witch. So that's one that that I got with my daughter's collection that I'll pass on eventually. But and my favorite, I have to go to my favorite female book that I bought for such a crazy price at the time.
Wow!
That's
a
Mary
nice
Marvel
copy too.
Yeah, it's like so Captain Marvel, Adventures 18, first Mary Marvel.
See, I mentioned that you had Golden Age, and then you pull out the Golden Age. That's great.
Yeah. I got them first Mary Marvel and the Marvel family, and I do like books that, like I said, first appearance females, also family stuff because it's also the first appearance of the Marvel family. I do have a lot of books in my PC that deal with family, like Fantastic Four and X-Men. Stuff, but this is one of the few. I do have the first Batwoman, I don't have it to
Oh,
show
really?
because I do have the first Batwoman as well. That one was like I picked. I only got it from the same person, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like when you see him for like couldn't believe it, and I was just like, all right, I'll take it if you're gonna sell it for that cheap. You
Mm-hmm.
don't see the book often, and then when I saw the back of this book,
Yeah,
that's
you gotta
why I
always
kind of
check the back.
the
Yeah,
back has the bullet
Bullet
girl and the
Girl
captain.
and
So
can't
because
remember which one.
these were cut out heavily at that
Yeah,
time.
like
So.
it's really hard to get a complete copy of that book.
So that this one meant a lot when I got it. Uh, I got what I paid for it. Yeah, like when I pay a cheap price on something, I don't know if you. I keep track of all the stuff I buy, but when I get something for like a good deal, I kind of don't pay attention to the prices.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just me, but that's what I kind of do. And it's like it happens, but let's see. I want to show one more like kind of female book that I would love to upgrade, but I think I'm just. Oh, here it is. Actually, no, this is not one I love to upgrade. This is just one that I was happy to get the grade I wanted.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Action Comics 252, origin and first appearance of Supergirl, which I have the tryout issue as well in the same
Oh,
grade.
nice.
But the thing with this book is, and people who collect DC knows this, uh, Marvel has the chipping issue, like has the Marvel chipping.
Mm-hmm.
DC has the page quality issue when you get older books. You tend to always
Mm-hmm.
have cream to off-white
To
pages.
Off-White.
This one actually has off-white to white.
Oh, nice. So it's actually quite high grade
Yeah,
for page quality. Yeah.
yeah, page quality for DC, and I always tell like my thought process with DC and Marvel is like and then like this age range. If a Marvel book is
Mm-hmm.
white pages, a DC book, if it's off white to white pages, that's like having a white page
So
Marvel
one
book in Sarah.
one grade low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you don't see them in off white to white. Not white. Forget white pages. You always see cream to
Mm-hmm.
off white. Always see cream to
And
off
another
white.
thing that most people don't realize about that book, and once you see it, then you'll always see it, is look at her skirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's blue. Normally it's red.
Yeah, it's red. Yep.
But in this, it's blue.
Yep. Yep. I didn't really pay attention to that till you said
Yeah.
something. Really, because it's something I don't pay attention to.
They didn't really decide on what her skirt color should be until like later on. Then it was always red.
That's like that Spider-Man, when he first for issues, he didn't
Yeah,
really
they
have
didn't know
like
if
he
they should
gotta
put the symbol on his
they
chest or what.
symbol on
Yeah.
his chest or draw him a certain way, or like they like, all right, now we got a set way we're gonna draw him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just some of the ones I wanted to show really quickly, that I had. I thought that mean a lot to me as well. Like, first
Oh, those are great.
appearances.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those
So
ones. Those are all ones
yeah.
that I chased
Yeah.
after as well. So those are cool. So I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'd love to make this like a 3-hour video, but I'm not sure if anyone would be watching by that point. But where can people? What are you up to? Where can people find you? All that stuff,
Well, Instagram, the best way to get in touch with me. That's my Instagram handle. Mm-hmm. You can find me on there.
I'll put in the link. I'll put the links in the description anyway.
Yeah. You get, but Instagram is the best way to find me or get in touch with me. YouTube, I'm on YouTube. I do a lot of videos, a lot of unboxings. I've been having fun with me and my friend Boston Chris, so we've been doing that together. They'll show once every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, so you can check that out. Graphic content,
nice.
But yeah, Instagram is the best way to contact me if anybody wants to talk to me. Questions, selling, buying,
blue marble.
Yeah. Anything you want to do is like Instagram. But yeah, it's I wish YouTube had the same messaging system as Instagram, because I'd be like, you can find me on YouTube as well. But it's
it doesn't.
Yeah, because that's my two avenues where I'm on all the time is YouTube. I watch more YouTube than anything, and I'm always on there doing something with somebody or myself. So, but yeah, it's always cool, on either or. So,
Okay, cool. So I'll put all the links to your YouTube and to your Instagram in the description. I recommend
Mhm.
people go check them out on IG because you do some pretty awesome sales, like every
Yeah.
so often. I haven't been doing as many recently, but hopefully
Mhm.
that will change.
If
Um,
yeah, we and Bleeker will be doing some more often, at least once a month. So
oh, okay, that's something to look forward to.
this will probably drop after the fact, but we will have one at the
Hmm.
end of the month of July, and then we'll probably work on one for the end of August. So
Okay,
you're gonna
so
see
something to look forward to.
me myself and Bleecker Street Comics, who's been on the show before.
Yep.
We'll be doing that on Instagram more often. So definitely look for that. You get somebody from Canada, you get somebody from the US. So you get
You
best of
get
both
both
worlds.
options. Yeah.
Yeah, both options.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Actually, this took a year for me, like begging you to come on my show,
I would
something
say
like that.
I would say 8 months.
Okay, okay,
Because I think it was
okay.
I think it might have been like
It was
it
a
might have been
while. It was a
almost a year.
while.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden all kind of stuff happened, you know.
I
So
wore you
I do
down.
appreciate.
It's like,
Yeah, I finally things started
okay, you can
easing
have
up.
your daughter back now. I'll send her back to you.
Yeah. So things started easing up. So I do appreciate him being patient. But like this is a great show. I have to tell people. I
Mhm,
watched a lot of the episodes, especially with friends of mine who've been on here. So
mhm,
like it's always cool to hear because you know when you're talking to people, as I have to say this. I appreciate you doing this because a lot of friends of mine who've been on here, you get to learn a little bit more about them
mhm.
than you kind of know. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
get to you don't get to hear things like a lot of people. A lot of them might not know my backstory as well, you know, from this. So it's
Hmm.
nice to hear that, and it's nice to know that, and you have to see little books that you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a little nugget. So this is a really good pleasure, and I do appreciate you very much for inviting me. And I'm happy we got to do it. It's a show that see me and Alan kind of have a good rapport. It's almost like we need a
Hmm.
part two. I'm just gonna tell people
Okay, definitely. I'm always open for part twos.
that.
Um, so yeah.
Because
Okay.
I didn't get to show this book, but Alan got this book.
Oh,
I want to
oh,
show it.
oh,
I got to
oh.
show it before we go because he
But that's
finally
some
got it as
chunky book.
well.
Why would anyone want
Hey,
to see that, right?
I don't
Let me
know,
make
but
you
you
big.
got
Wait,
it.
wait, wait. You gotta
Yeah,
end this was this
yeah.
is
We got
like the
to
big book.
yeah. You got to end it with this one because I know Alan finally got his copy as well,
But
and
mine's an 8.5. So you
yeah.
had to do better than me. You had to make me look bad.
Look, mine got scratches on the case. There, so we'll say we even. But yeah, this is my ultimate grail. Before we go, before we end it, this is my TMNT1 first print. Um, I wouldn't have it unless I would have did some things to get to. A lot of people are like, well, you sold the AF-15. Yes, I sold AF-15 1.0
Wow.
with tape all on the spine, beat up. But that wasn't
Hmm.
my grail. That wasn't my book that I kind of wanted, and it wasn't characters I grew up with. You know,
Hmm.
Spider-Man is a character I like, and I want that book again. But I
Hmm.
grew up with the Turtles. I grew up with the Turtles, and I never thought I would have this, especially in this grade, with the page
Hmm.
quality as well. Because you know, Alan will tell you that too as well. To get this book, and
Yeah, it's
this is
hard.
in white pages as
And it's
well.
a
Because
rarer book. That's much
yeah,
rarer than
yeah,
AF-15.
it,
AF-15 is common. This is a rare
yeah.
book.
The census is not correct on this book, just to let people know, because you know people have gotten them signed, whatever. But
Yeah.
they've only made 3,000 of these, and I want to say probably half are really out there. But the
Hmm.
census will tell you it's like maybe 18 or 1900, maybe a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't think it's that many because a lot of people got them cracked, signed. But this is my ultimate book that means the most to me. Characters
Hmm.
that I care about the most that I want to share at the end because I'm always happy to have people that I know get similar book. You know, maybe not same grade, but get the same book. You know,
Hmm.
Alan got it. A few other people I know end up getting it earlier, like years
Hmm.
ago. So it's
It
cool.
took
It's a cool
me
book. Yeah,
6 months or 8 months or something like that to get it. It took me a while to pay it off. It's
yeah.
like,
Well, but you have it now, and like you said, it's a rarer
mhm,
book than some of these golden age books that we have are silver age keys.
mhm,
And to find it and like you even got 8.5. You can find it in that grade for this all black book. You know, you don't see it. You don't see it every day, and they don't come up for sale. They don't. They don't, like you see them on eBay, but they see it. They're crazy prices.
A crazy price,
To see them for a reasonable price, or even for the fair market value price. They say it like that. See them at fair market value price. You don't see that often, because once somebody who collects either keys or TMNT, once we get this book, we usually don't let it go. So
is yours signed as well? A lot of the early ones were signed.
No, I wish it was. It's just so
mine's signed, I think.
Yeah, I got this one.
I'm trying to get
you got that. You got that on me. Mine's not signed. I don't think I would ever get it signed unless Peter Leard was doing a signing.
Well, they signed a lot of the first pages. A lot, you know,
but I mean, I would never. Yeah,
it's not signed.
Yeah, I think because what they would do is. And like I said, I don't want to go too long, but what they used to do is, like Alan said, you would buy the book, and a lot of times they would just sign the inside before even asking you if you wanted it.
Yeah,
it's like automatic. It automatically is. So like for it to be unsigned, it's a lot of times people would say, "Oh, you don't have to worry about signing it." Or this might be one of the few books that made it to LCSs.
Yeah,
a few of them did.
There wasn't that many that made it.
Not that many. But it was like a few of them, like LCSs might have gotten like 5 or 2. You know what I mean? They didn't get that many, but because a lot of them they took with them around as conventions and stuff like that, and then all of those got signed. But but this is the book that means the most. I want to thank Alan for having me. I had to show that off for you guys. But yeah, definitely check out any of his other videos. He does this because it's a pleasure. This is always a pleasure. Yeah, this is a good pleasure. It makes me smile when you get to talk about these things and do things like this. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and I'm happy we got to do this. And like I said, whenever you need a part 2,
we'll do it again.
Whenever you need a part 2, I'm ready because I didn't even show half of the stuff, guys. I got tons of stuff.
I know you have he has some amazing books. Yeah, I'll have to get you to pull those 3 books at the back there, some down for the next part. But
I definitely could do that. You can get up close and look
because those are cool books.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks again, by the way, and bye for now, everyone.